The materials for this procedure include a bacterial culture tube in a tube holder, the Bunsen burner, a clothespin, the inoculating loop, a glass slide, and a Sharpie marker. The slide needs to be clean before the procedure starts. You can clean it with paper towel. This slide has an etched surface on one end, on one side. You can see the etched surface if you hold the slide to see reflected lights. With the etched surface on top, write your name abbreviation onto the slide. If you don't have an etched slide, just pick a side and write your name. Then attach the clothespin to the slide, on the end you just wrote on. I have turned the burner on and set it to produce the working flame. Then I sterilize the loop. Moving over to the sink, the tap is turned on carefully, then turned back off again, so that I can catch a water drop in the loop. You can see the water drop here, but there is too much water. The loop is shaken gently so the excess water falls off. Then pick up the slide using the clothespin and transfer the remaining water onto the slide. The culture tube cap is loosened. Here is a closer look inside the culture tube. You can see the bacteria growing on the agar surface. Check your tube for visible growth before continuing. Aseptic technique is used to access the tube, which starts with sterilizing the loop. You must be patient for the loop to cool down, otherwise you will burn the microbes. Wait about 30 seconds. Pick up and hold the culture tube from the bottom, maneuver the tube so it is positioned correctly. Transfer the tube cap to the pinky finger of your loop hand, then remove the tube out from the cap. The next thing was to flame the tube, but while recording, I forgot this step. So here is the flaming procedure as it should have happened. In our previous aseptic practice, we used the fishtail technique to apply the loop to the agar. However, in this instance, when picking up the microbes for a smear, we do not want to do that. For smearing, we only want a small amount of microbes. Here I have touched the loop down to the gel. Some microbes grow thicker and are more sticky than other microbes. Look carefully in your tube to see how the microbes are reacting to the loop. This particular microbe is not very sticky, so I am moving the loop around a little. You want to be sure to have made contact, but you don't want to see visible amounts of microbes on the loop surface. Even though you may not be able to see the microbes, they are there. So I am being very careful not to bang the loop on the tube as I remove it. I also forgot to flame the culture tube after removing the microbes. Here is what should have happened. Place the tube into the lid, then place the tube back into the tube rack. Pick up the slide using the clothespin and place the loop into the drop of water. Start moving the loop against the slide surface, around and around, to create a smear about the size of a dime. Don't go near the edges of the slide as the loop could slip off and cause contamination. You should be able to see a slight grayish tinge to the water as you move the loop around. Keep going, moving the water around, until the smear looks evenly distributed. Once done, place the slide down onto the bench, then sterilize the loop. Let the loop cool down completely before you place it down. Here is what my smear looks like. The edges are beginning to dry and turn grey. At this stage, you should have a good idea about how the smear will turn out. If you cannot see any grey coloration to your water, you may have been too cautious when obtaining your microbes. In this case, you can use aseptic technique to obtain more microbes and add them into the smear while it is still wet. If you have a thick smear that you cannot see through, then this can be difficult to fix. If you have enough space, you could add a second drop of water beside your smear and use the loop to move some microbes into it. Place your slide onto the bench, out of the way. The smear needs to air dry completely before moving on. One reason why we started with only a small drop of water was to speed up the drying time at this step. Here is the smear when it is completely dry. You should be able to see the material on the slide, but you should be able to see through it. The smear should also be evenly distributed with no thick or thin spots. You should practice identifying the smear side of the slide. Reflect light off of the slide. On the smear side you should see the matte texture of the smear does not reflect as much.